Symbolism of completion and divine order. 7 consistently marks completion and divine fullness across various biblical contexts, demonstrating that God finishes what He starts. Key aspects of completion and order. Creation cycle. God established the pattern of divine completion by resting on the seventh day after finishing creation in 6 days. Cycles and timing. 7 signifies the perfection of order and shows when God finishes a phase and starts another. It is linked to covenant and divine timing. Worship and law. 7 appears in major religious practices, such as the Passover, lasting 7 days, and Israel celebrating 7 feasts. Cleansing and victory. Acts of obedience often involve the number 7 to achieve full completion or cleansing. For instance, Naaman washed 7 times, and Joshua's army marched for 7 days, and 7 times on the last day, to complete their tasks. Prophetic structure. The book of Revelation is built extensively on 7s, which shape the entire prophetic cycle and help readers understand how God completes judgment, cleansing, restoration, and victory. Revelation uses 7 references for churches, candlesticks, seals, trumpets, vials, and more. Completed government, multiplying 7, completion, by 12, divine government, results in 84, 7 times 12, symbolizing completed structure, spiritual authority, and perfect order in God's plan. Symbolism of spiritual maturity. The meaning of 7 explicitly includes spiritual maturity. Studying the number 7 in Scripture is presented as a path for believers to grow in wisdom and alignment with God's design. How studying 7 aids growth. Discernment and wisdom. Understanding biblical numbers, particularly 7, helps the student move from surface knowledge to deeper wisdom. Understanding God's timing. 7 teaches that God works in set cycles and uses order to guide believers, helping them discern spiritual timing and accept God's plan with confidence. Alignment and obedience. Learning about God's patterns in structure and timing leads to increased obedience to God's design and alignment with His plan. Intensification of completion and order through multiples of 7. Multiples of 7 further enhance the themes of divine order, perfection, and completed cycles. Multiple. Meaning and symbolism. Scriptural examples. 77. 77 marks spiritual justice and mercy. It signifies deep restoration, complete reconciliation, and cleansing of relationships. Forgiveness is linked with 70 times 7 in Matthew 18:22. 3 sevens intensifies divine perfection. It represents pure divine design, God's signature, and perfected completion. Noah lived 777 years. The 7 attributes of the Messiah in Isaiah 11 to match the 7 spirits of God referenced in Revelation. 5 sevens. 7 times 7x 7 times 7x, 7. Represents completion, 7, multiplied by grace, 5, showing complete grace or grace perfected. It points to perfected cycles and full maturity under spiritual favor. This pattern is seen in prophetic cycles and the Jubilee pattern, which uses 7 cycles of 7. The usage of 7 and its multiples teaches that God uses ordered numbers, works in cycles, and hides meaning in structure and timing to reveal His plan. The number that symbolizes complete government is 84, which is derived from multiplying 7 by 12, 7 times 12. Here is a detailed explanation of why this number represents complete government. 7 symbolize completion and divine orders. 12 symbolize divine governments. When 7, completion, is multiplied by 12, divine government, the result is 84, which signifies complete government with divine order. The significance of the number 12 is seen throughout the King James Version, KJV, of the Bible, featuring elements such as the 12 tribes, the 12 apostles, the 12 stones on the high priest's breastplate, and the New Jerusalem being built on multiples of 12. Therefore, the product of 7 times 12, 84, specifically represents completed structure, spiritual authority, set times in God's plan, and a perfect leadership pattern. The number 7 is highly significant in Scripture, and it marks several foundational concepts related to God's plan, structure, and timing. The number 7 is highly significant in Scripture, and it marks several foundational concepts related to God's plan, structure, and timing. The number 7 primarily marks completion and divine fullness. Key concepts marked by the number 7. 7 is seen from Genesis to Revelation and is associated with the following specific meanings. Completion. The number 7 indicates that God finishes what he starts. God completed creation in 6 days and rested on the 7th day. Naaman washed 7 times to complete his cleansing, and Joshua's army marched for 7 days to complete their conquest of Jericho. Perfection of order. 7 highlights the organized structure and system by which God operates. It shows that God works in set cycles. Spiritual maturity. Studying the number 7 in Scripture is a pathway for spiritual growth, leading to increased discernment, wisdom, and alignment with God's design. Covenant. 7 is linked to God's covenants. Divine cycles and timing. 7 is used to show when God finishes a phase and starts another. It helps believers discern spiritual timing. Prophetic structure. The entire prophetic cycle in the book of Revelation is shaped by 7s, marking how God completes judgment, cleansing, restoration, and victory. Revelation extensively uses 7 references for elements such as seals, trumpets, vials, and churches.